I think it's on. I think it's working. Hopefully it's working. Hi, everybody. This is my first stream in a while. So let's hope it's working. There, I didn't cue up the intro. So hi, everybody. Welcome to Veronica Explains. I'm Veronica, and today we're going to be trying Ubuntu Studio for the first time in a while. I personally haven't used Ubuntu Studio since I think 2015. Sounds about right. Hi. Okay, the chat's coming in. Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. So let's, I haven't used Ubuntu Studio since I think 2015 was it. I used to use Ubuntu Studio on a, iMac, a 2011 iMac was my studio machine, and I used Ubuntu Studio on it, and I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So it's something I enjoyed and I appreciated, and I just haven't touched it in a while. So I figured now would be a good time to try it. The background on why I'm doing this and why I'm setting this up and why I decided to just stream my install today is that I think I'm going to do a video about Kdenlive. And specifically, I'm going to set up a vanilla Kdenlive and then configure it the way that I do for editing my videos. And I decided, you know, why not just stream the Ubuntu Studio setup? I'll try it on Ubuntu Studio, see how I like it. I normally use Pop! OS, so I figured that'd be close enough. So let's go to their website and see, and then I'll answer some of the chat here. Let's see if I can switch. Can I switch? Switch. Let's see. I got so much going on. Oh no. Let's close all that. I somehow lost Ubuntu Studio. Okay. Ubuntu Studio. So I wanted to show the website because I like talking about the website and everything. So let's, does this work? I think you can see Ubuntu Studio now. So this is the Ubuntu Studio website. It is ubuntustudio.org, and it's a nice website for Ubuntu. You know, like it's got lots of icons and it really tells you what it does. It is a creative distro. It's designed with creative folks in mind, which I think is awesome. You know, as a creator myself, it's a good thing. Hesitate a little bit because I don't necessarily like that word creator, but that's okay. But it has built-in tools for audio, graphics, video, and photography. And when I used it before, I really liked it. There was an amp sim that I thought was pretty good, but it's been a while since I set it up. So I figured this would be an exciting thing to do. And they've got Ardour 7.1 in the back ports, which is nice. I think Ardour in Ubuntu stock ships Ardour 6 right now. Ardour is a digital audio workstation, or a DAW, which is very helpful if you're a musician like me. And then we have just notes, and like it's a nice website. I like what they're doing with it. So let's dive in. I already put it onto a flash drive, ripped it. Burned it. I burned it to a flash drive. That's what I did. But before I get started, let's do, it's telling me I should insert an ad here. I'm not going to insert an ad here. That's not going to happen today. So let's look at some of the questions real quick while I try to get this set up. First of all, Meat Lotion said, hey, Veronica, and threw in a super chat. So I appreciate that. Thank you. This is wonderful. I appreciate the support, and you know, like this now would be a good time. If you want to see more ways to support, I just recently revamped the front page of my website at vkc.sh. So I made a graphic. That's kind of exciting. So you can check out vkc.sh for different things to do, and I'm gonna try to blog a little bit more in the new year, just because it's fun and I think it'd be a good time. Okay. I think Jack, I think folks are talking about Jack. So Jack is built in by default in Ubuntu Studio last I checked. I don't think they've switched to Wayland, and I don't think they've switched to Pipewire. So it's, for me, I've been on a Pipewire-based setup more recently with Pop! OS, so it's different. Not in the Minnesota, like, I don't like it way. When a Minnesotan says that's different, they usually mean, I don't think I like it. That's not what I mean here. It's different than what I've been doing, but you know, there's benefits to Jack because certain software works better in Jack. Generally speaking, Pipewire is getting better. Leather Mushroom says, I can finally catch a stream. Hello from Scotland. Hello! I'm glad you're able to catch it. It seems like it'd be pretty late there, but that I still appreciate it. So I see Veronica, are you an Arch, Debian, Source, or RPM Linux user? I am mostly, if I had to choose between them, I'm choosing Debian, but I use a bit of everything. On my desktop stuff, it tends to be Pop! OS. So Ubuntu base, but you know, they've stripped out Snap and put in other stuff, and I like the tiling, and I've done videos about it. Hello from Brazil. Hello from Brazil. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing booted up. And then I'm going to interrupt. I'm doing that thing where I hit the button over and over again. And then I'm going to see if I can switch to this so that you can see it. See if that works. Doesn't look like it's live yet, but give it a minute. Because I'm just gonna hit that button. Hopefully you can see it in a minute. I'm seeing try or install. We're gonna install. You can't see it. It's a grub menu. If you've ever seen a grub menu, that it looks like a grub menu. Okay, come on. Come on. I saw flashing. It flashed in front of me. Okay, I got a very nice screen here. There, okay, I think maybe now you can see it. It says Ubuntu Studio. I love the way that looks. That's nice. It's much nicer than the messages you used to get. I love the way, I like this about a lot of Linux distros, when they've got this kind of clean, welcoming intro to it. Jefferson McGee says, quick hello, and Linux is awesome, and so are you. Thank you! So are you. You're awesome. Yeah, I'm fairly certain Ubuntu Studio hasn't made the switch to Pipewire yet. Yes, they haven't. And hey, so you know what? I should talk about the computer I'm using. I did a video about this computer a little bit ago. I think it's the same video, or it's the same computer I ended up using in my Pop! OS live stream, which was the last one. It is a ThinkPad E490. I also use this in my Arch video. So it's just, this tends to be my like testing things computer. So it's fun. It's a good time. I'm still waiting for it to, I think we've got a dual screen thing here, because I see the mouse is here. Whee! But then I move it over to my screen and you can't see it. So I am still waiting for everything to fire up. I think it's doing its thing. I just shut off the audio from the computer because I don't want, it's gonna potentially come through the microphone that I got right here, and I don't want that to get kittywampus. This is good. Okay, good old ThinkPads. Am I using a preamp? Ooh, that's a good question. Here, I'm gonna, while this is doing its thing, I'm gonna switch to the camera just to show you. I am using a PreSonus Audio Box 96. It's just a standard USB device that I use for things recording-wise when I only need a couple channels. It's nice, it's easy, it's USB plug and play. It tends to work in most distros. Jason says, Happy New Year, kind of new to your channel, and so wish I'd discovered. Well, thank you. I still feel like I'm new here, Jason. I still feel like I'm new here, everybody. I've only done like a couple dozen videos so far. Like, I'm still learning in my mind. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. I don't know. Hi, Veronica in chat. Hi. I have a ThinkPad L590 steer away. It's so low powered. It is low powered. This one was cheap. I got it from a discount store. I did not buy it new. And I like it. Like it's okay as a test bench, you know, like I've used it in the field a few times and it's not bad. Okay, let's go to the capture card. So this is the desktop, but you can't see. I think I'm needing to set up the display mirroring. So I'm going to do that real quick. You can't see how nice this looks, but I love the way Plasma's been looking recently. Okay, let's see the built-in screen and say that's replica of the built-in screen and apply. And okay, I think you can see that. I'm gonna say keep it. Okay, so it's 1920 by 1080. It might be a bit tight, just because normally when I do a properly recorded video, I try to increase the size of everything. So you're seeing as I'm seeing it here. So, but yeah, I like this background. I like this like little, deer thing. I don't remember what animal they're on now. I like it. I think it's nice. It's a nice dark theme. It reminds me of the XFCE theme they used to use. Of course, now they're on Plasma, so that's interesting. Not Minnesota interesting, but good interesting. Okay, so here's the installer. We're going forward with the installer here. Thomas says, I already have goosebumps. Mr. Concio says, hey, Linux Mom, how are you? Hi, I'm good. It was a holiday season. It's mostly over now, which is nice. Welcome to the Ubuntu Studio installer. I'm going to use American English. Okay, my fan's kicked on, but that's okay. America, Chicago. That's close enough. Generic 105. Yep, that's all looks good. Okay, so I think right now I have Fedora on here. I was just playing around with Fedora like earlier today. I'm just going to say erase the whole disk and let's install it. Now this has 2 disks. I'm going to do the M.2. That's the one I want. Let me just make sure it didn't erase the other one. No, yeah, leave that one. Okay. I keep some persistent storage on a second drive on here, which is good to do, especially if you have a test device, because now I have a place I can dump, like if I do OBS recordings of this thing, I have a place I can set it. So yeah, let's do that. Normally I would go with encryption, but this is a test computer. I'm not going to encrypt it because it's not going to leave the house. It just adds to the complexity of the day. Normally I do like the encryption though. Okay, what is my full name? Veronica Explains. I use VKC, those are my initials. Name of this computer, VKC, Thinky, Ubuntu, that's 2 U's. Ubuntu. Okay, let's see. Kinetic Kudo? Is that what somebody said? Danny says it's kinetic kudo. Cool. I don't know what a kudo is. It looks like a deer to me, but I'm from Minnesota. What do I know? Let's see. Okay, secret password. There we go. All right, we're going in. So I'm going, when I install it, I have Bop It. I'm ready to go with Bop It to see how it installs. But if you're new to the channel, there's a thing I do. I play Bop It a lot. It's kind of my like ADHD. If I need to like stim for a bit, I pick up Bop It, and it's great. I love it. And the thing about Bop It is it's actually really convenient to use Bop It while you're waiting for Linux to install, because you can kind of measure how well it's doing by how much Bop It you're playing. So for me, it helps me pass the time. So I'll do that if there's not a ton of questions in the comments. We'll see how that works. Okay, I'm hitting install. It's going to make changes to the disk. Let's do it. Okay, we're going. Let's see what the questions say in the comments while we wait. I'm going to let this go. You're going to see it, but let's answer some questions. Let's see. Please update me on how the CPU fan behaves. I don't usually anticipate any CPU fan issues with this computer. It's pretty underpowered. It just doesn't do much. But it might be, you know, as I'm recording media. So like maybe that'll happen. It is a ThinkPad E490. So it's not the biggest thing in the world. Greetings from Argentina. Hello. If Minnesotans say, "What do I know?" does it mean they actually know a lot? Yeah, it usually does. We say, we're very self-deprecating. We're very self-deprecating people. And so when we say things like, "Oh, what do I know?" Usually the idea here is to actually like demur a little bit and like not have the attention on us, but to say we're comfortable with our knowledge. Let's see. Minnesota saying interesting is like a Southerner saying bless your heart. I've heard that. I think that tracks with what my brain is thinking, but that's what do I know? My grandsons play Bop It. I love Bop It.
Fox Bop, one-on-one. Fox Bop, solo.
So there's Vox Bop and there's Beat Bop, and I tend to like Beat Bop.
High score, 250.
No, that's my high score. That's not what I wanted.
Medium.
We'll go medium.
Beat Bop.
So Beat Bop is going to be just the sounds. It's not actually going to tell me what it is. When are you going to see me playing the guitar? Soon. Oh. Thank you, Berserk, for trying not to miss a video. I appreciate that. Oh, is that Guilherme from Brazil? Thank you. I appreciate it. ThinkPad L590 with Fedora 37 doesn't even spin the CPU fan under heavy load. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, hello from Vietnam, Pepe. I appreciate it. Catherine's going to order a Bop It. That's good. That's the way you do it. Ooh, Eric says hello from China. Hi. TV from VCR says hi from England. Hi. Ringo, dual boots, Mint, and Windows. Gparted can work. You might run into some issues if you end up deleting grub, assuming it's using grub. You just want to make sure that you're comfortable reinstalling a bootloader if you end up having an issue with that. But I've used Gparted for that, and I think it works okay. I need a New Yorker version of Bop It where I can haul off and punch it. Yep, see, I think it's not bad for reading. 61 during that. Okay. Kiki says, hi from France. Hello. Hi. I appreciate that. I think I said Kiki. Yeah, I think it's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, we've got people from all over. This is so good. Okay, Associate Minister and Reserve Deacon, Mr. Terry Jones asks, Veronica, are you an X11 user or a Wayland user? I bop back and forth, depends on the computer. When I'm on Pop! OS, I like X11, and the reason why is that not everything's optimized for Wayland just yet. There's plenty of computers, though, where I do end up using Wayland. Some of my work virtual machines, that works out just fine. I ran Wayland for a bit doing some video editing work on it just to take advantage of, I want to say it was screen recording and being able to pipe things a little bit easier, and it actually worked out pretty well. But it's for a lot of video creation stuff, Wayland isn't quite there because the tooling isn't quite there. The biggest reason why I keep using X11 right now is just because I use Barrier a lot, which I made a video about. I use Barrier quite a bit when I'm working with a secondary computer off to the side maybe, and when I do that, Barrier doesn't work on Wayland yet. I hope they fix that. Hello from Buffalo, New York. Hello from Buffalo, New York. Hello from Australia. See, it's one of the things about this time of day is I find when I do these, there's more people from Australia. So hi, I appreciate that. Very good. Let's see. I have to use Windows for Unreal Engine and Adobe Creative Suite. Yeah, the Adobe thing's real. I was an Adobe user for a couple of years, just for some professional graphic design stuff that I was doing. And I didn't like it. It just did the workflow didn't jive well with me. But if it's your workflow, it's your workflow and it's hard to change. What I will say is Ubuntu Studio is really aiming for that use in my, just reading about it and experience and what I've heard other people say. So I'm eager to give it a try. I don't know if it'll dethrone Pop! OS for me, but it's always important to try new things and see. What I like about Ubuntu Studio is Plasma. I think Plasma is really something. It's the customization you can get from it is it's amazing. Yep. 1:20 p.m. in Australia. Yep, it's good, and it's New Year's Eve there, so you'll get it before we do. You'll get to see the fireworks. Like, what is you in Australia? You all do the fireworks at like the Opera House, and in the Eastern time zone in the United States, they do the whole New York thing, and I live in Central Time, which is one time zone away from that. And one time it's this way for you because of mirroring. And when there's nothing. We got nothing. Conan O'Brien used to do, I'm going to age myself. Conan O'Brien used to do a thing for Central Time and nobody's done it since. And we need a Central Time Zone thing. Ubuntu Studio has been installed. You may restart. I'm going to restart. We're going to give this a try. Okay. It's probably going to go blank for a second. So... Oh, is it 4:20 in Cyprus right now? That must be fun. Yep, 8:28 in Wisconsin. We're in the same time zone. Looked at KDE Neon too unstable compared to Kubuntu. That's a lot of people feel that way. I don't think it's incorrect if that's your own stability is your own stability. But generally speaking, I know a lot of people who really do like KDE Neon, that they really get something out of it. If you really want to try the latest and greatest, that's great. Personally, I just have a hard time imagining KDE Neon without just having a full tilt rolling release at that point. And so then I would start to look at something like Arch. And I used Arch for a number of years before I switched to Pop! OS. So I went through the Arch by the way phase earlier on. Conan O'Brien, the patron saint of the Central Times. Yes, this is true. Okay. Have I tried Rabbit Ear OS? I have not tried Rabbit Ear OS. Okay, we're signing in for the first time. Let's see. It's probably going to look exactly the same as it did before. I think I saw somebody in the comments ask how I'm going to play the guitar and when I'm going to play the guitar. I'm going to talk a little bit about the guitar while we get this thing booted up for the first time. This is my Epiphone Dot. I'll go full screen and I'll start changing the screen settings here. This is my Epi Dot, which is fun. I picked it up a number, or maybe a year ago. It was probably a year ago. I very much liked it. Still do. And it's fun. I think it's a excellent guitar for folks who need a variety of like tonal depth. So like I occasionally am playing like jazzy chords in the background of some of the videos. You might hear that. And when I do that, this is a great guitar for it. Did I not switch myself back? Let's see. I'm trying to set up the display. I think it worked. Okay. Let's see if you can see this now. Anyway, I'm a big fan. Nope, it's still not showing up. I'm a big fan of this guitar. I think it's super neat. Do I have to apply? Oh yeah, that got weird. Okay, revert. Okay, we're gonna try that again. I was talking at you, and so I completely forgot to actually say approve the changes. So you can only see half the screen now, so that's fun. Let's keep, and then replica of the built-in screen, apply. Now you should see it. Okay. So everybody sees that now? That should be good. Now I'm gonna hit keep, so that way we don't lose it. Okay, so let's tear through this new distro and see how we like it. So let's go to About. I like that menu. I like this theme. This theme is nice. This is a first look. I haven't touched this in, since like 2015, and back then it was an XFCE thing. So this gives you a little bit of information about my hardware and some stuff like that. Not sure how easy you can see this. I might increase the size in a moment, but I'm also worried that's going to impact the design packages. So now one thing I was surprised at, maybe this will become an issue in a little bit, is it didn't ask me if I wanted like audio production tools or video tools, or it didn't ask me about my workflow, and I feel like it used to. Like I could pick and choose different packages at install time. I didn't see it do this, so that was, maybe it installed everything. I don't know. But so it looks like we're on KDE Plasma 5.25. We're using Qt 5.15. Kernel is 5.19. So we're on the low latency kernel though. So I'm betting we're not gonna get kernel 6 in anything until it's supported on low latency mode. And I'm not sure when Ubuntu is gonna do that. So I could imagine this would have an older kernel for a bit, but I haven't read about that. So maybe somebody in the chat knows what kernel they're going to do low latency in, and if you do, leave it in the chat and let me know. Tag me in it so that way I know. Okay, still legible, still legible. Somebody said rock your intro tune real quick. Well, I don't have an amp sim set up, but something like that. So that's fun. Okay, so should we try to see the amp sims? Let's see what we've got. So here is the USB for my little supply thing here. Make sure fan and power's off. Okay, and now I'm going to turn on the audio from the computer. So hopefully we don't end up with any sort of audio blowing up the speakers or anything like that. Okay, we've got Linux 6.1, Zanmod or Licorix from Joseph. I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. Here's me going full Minnesota on you. I can see, let's say by default, we have Kdenlive, Digicam. So let me go through some of these. Kdenlive's a video editor. It's an open source alternative to Premiere Pro or Final Cut, and I use Kdenlive for everything I do. And in fact, Kdenlive is the reason I'm doing this, because I'm going to do a video where I walk through my Kdenlive setup and go into a little bit about how I edit these videos, because it's a common enough question, and I think people would be interested in it. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. It comes with the classic image manipulation program. It comes with Digicam for photo management and Darktable, so we've got a couple different things here, which is nice. It has a settings app. Ooh. It comes with Krita. I don't have a drawing tablet set up for this, but that would be something I would consider going into. I don't do a whole lot of drawing, but like every now and again, the drawing tablet is fun. Okay. We got OBS out of the gate. Nice. We have Ardor, very cool. Studio controls, excellent. Let's see if that picks up my Okay, this is neat. All right, we're on jack. So somebody in the chat was asking about jack versus pipe wire for this. It looks like we've got jack, so that's fun. Jack is an audio connection kit. It's one of those classic Linux. What's the word for it? When you have the acronym have itself in the acronym, it's got one of those. Okay, Rock to 11 says Linux needs Photoshop, in my humble opinion. You know what? I agree. I genuinely think if Linux, I know it's not popular to say, but if Adobe stuff either ran in the browser or ran in Linux, I could imagine a few more people would jump, and that would be useful. Aaron asks, who manages Ubuntu Studio? Is it under the Ubuntu core umbrella? I believe it's a community distro that's official, whatever that means. So that's great. Let's see. So Jack Master settings, does it allow capture and playback? It doesn't look like it's picked it up yet. USB device. Oh, yep. Nope. Here we go. Okay. Yep, it even says right here, no USB, so that's helpful. We've got extra latency that you can add in. That's very nice as a musician. So latency, for those who don't know, is if I'm gonna clap, from the time I clap to the time it's recorded on disk, there might be a delay. There's always a delay. And what low latency does is it's an optimized kernel which reduces that delay. It's designed around making certain elements run faster at the expense of some other things. It's debatable how important that is. I found 10 years ago that it was extremely important to my workflow, but nowadays I've been using the stock kernels in Pop! OS for, a good, I don't know, 3 years now, 4 years now, something like that, and it works fine. Okay, but it picked this up, so that's exciting. I'm gonna say just restart, or maybe apply. I'm gonna break it. This is where I break it, because I'm just clicking things without looking at it. And it died. Can you see it? I think you can see it. Okay, I did this before I did this. That was a mistake. Okay. We're gonna apply, check, and stopping, configuring. Okay, I can see the KDE Plasma audio switcher just picked up this thing, so that's good. It's adding bridges. Okay, it's doing all kinds of fun. I can see it. I don't know if you could see that, but it added, I can see it's adding new devices here, which is good. Now Jack is running. So it seems like once I hit apply, it picked up my USB interface, which is, again, a Presonus Audio Box USB 96. Just your standard kind of $100 American run-of-the-mill USB interface. And it picked it up and it worked out. So see, I can see I'm coming through because I can see my instrument light clipped on that, so that's good. Now, I'm just going to minimize that, and let's see. It's got Guitarix. Okay, so let's talk about some of these cool things. I'm going to focus on music today because I see people asking in the comments. Let's see if we can get Hydrogen working. Let's start with that. Now, you're using a development version of Hydrogen. I wonder what version they're using. So this is a fun program that you can use to actually write up your own drum beats. And I find this to be useful as I'm mapping out a song. It's kind of fun. Let's see. I first want to make sure that you can hear what's happening. So I am going to, I wonder if I can tell it where to send audio out. Okay, I saw it click through, but I don't think you heard that. So, because here's what's happening right now. My audio interface has its own audio output. And the capture card is going through a different audio output. So this is where Jack might come in handy. Because let's see if I can make... If I can bridge out, it's been a while since I did this. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay. So it's USB device, bridge ALSA. Let's see. Oh, Carla. Okay, I think this might actually be what I want. Oh, maybe not. Oh boy. There's a panic button. Should I hit it? I'm not going to hit it. I am in over my head on Carla, though. So no, we're not going to use Carla. I haven't used this before, so that's new to me. That's something I will not just discover during a live stream. I just wonder, you know what? Here, I'm going to try this. Bridge USB devices to jack when plugged in. Yep, that's fine. Switch to monitor output. I wonder if that'll do it. Okay, I heard that. But you probably didn't. So let's see if I can tell it where to go. Audio system. Okay. See, I'm hitting things. There we go. And then I hit OK. Can you hear that now? Nope. I want you to hear it. It's very important because if we can hear it, then you can hear it. Those are words. I might end up bypassing jack for this just so you can hear it. If I had a mixer, I'm tempted to try unplugging it and plugging it back in, but that might be a bigger disaster. I wonder if I can just set. See, that might be some of it. It says there's literally no audio devices. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, we're stopping jack because jack is its own beast. Jack lets you chain things, which is neat, but I don't know if I want to do that on a live stream because I'm not prepared to mix that separately. Can see, not hear. Yep. Oh, I'm aware. Can we stop? Please stop. Well, look at that. It's saying right there. Oh, geez. Come on now. It won't let me not run jack. That's funny. Oh, that's delightful. See, it's a live stream. This is all an experiment. I can see, you can see here, over here in the corner, this little fader goes up when I hit kick. So I know it's getting something. You just can't hear it. I wonder. No, that's not going to be it. That's all about panning. We don't care about panning so much. Ooh, studio controls crashed. That's interesting. Okay. I wonder what's happening here, because this is odd. You know what? I'm going to turn off USB settings here because I wonder if what I think is happening here is that the USB on this device is taking over everything, and I don't have another speaker to plug into it. So you have no way to hear it. I think the audio is coming through this, and you just can't hear it. So let's see if we can fix that another way. Okay, I can see Audio, yep, there's now my audio devices. Okay, so Jack is stopped. Let's see if we can hear it. Nothing, but I might need to restart. Let's say discard, because that was started when Jack was around. Let's go into hydrogen. Okay. Still nothing. It's sending it through the audio box. Okay. Send it through the speakers instead. Now I can hear that. Time to turn it way up because it's very quiet, but I can hear it. I can hear it plain as day. Is that coming through? Okay, I think it's working. Michael James says just use a Mac. No, we're not here to use a Mac. And here's the thing, this wouldn't be happening if I plugged a speaker into this. You just wouldn't be able to hear it at all that way. I'm doing this for you, not for me. My speakers are right there. I could plug them in. Then I just wouldn't be able to hear myself. Wait, why didn't I plug those speakers? They'd be loud. They'd be too loud, Veronica. Chill it down. Okay, let's do show additional audio profiles. I'm going to try to send it to the output of the HDMI. Okay. All right, let's see if we can hear that. All right, can you hear that? I think that was better. Does that loop come through for you now? I'm tempted to put the monitor on so I can hear it, but then it's gonna feed back. I see, yes. This is cool. Okay, so we got this. We got this figured out. Now I'm gonna have to play with my microphone. So I'm gonna turn my microphone off and see if I can hear this. Okay, so that worked. I think that works out just fine. So now that we know we can do this, let's see if we can get an amp sim going. So this will be fun. I'm pumping the amp sim through the HDMI, which is weird, and there might be some delay. So like, bear with me on this, but let's see if I can get some guitar going. We got Guitarix. I'm gonna use Guitarix. Jack server is not currently running. You can choose to activate. Jack gave us some trouble. Ignore Jack. Let's ignore Jack. Let's just try it. Let's just ignore Jack. It's fine. Okay, so let's see. What do we do here? Can you do a rap tune? No, I cannot. I'm not capable of that. So let's see what happens when I just pick up the guitar. Pick up the guitar. Okay, so I got me a guitar. Now, simulate, so Steve Mormon says, simulate Tone King Gremlin amp. I don't know what it simulates. It looks like it's set on a 12, like a 12-inch like basic thing, but here, this is very small. Okay, so let's, without using Jack, I know I might get some latency, so I'm just, prepared for that. Oh, okay, so we're adding features, but I need, how do you hear it? I wonder if I have to set the audio. Normally I would try this in Jack. Okay, we've got analog, digital, stereo. Those are the inputs. It is not pulling. Wonder if I should try Jack again just to see what happens. Should I try Jack? Leave a comment. What would be nice is if I could, maybe there's a, what I want to do here, what I'm trying to do is set it so it just uses the input. But are you running on Pipewire? No, I'm not running on Pipewire. And I kind of wish I was right now. Here's the problem with using jack. If you're just here, everything jack is currently configured to send the audio out to this speaker. And in order for me to plug in any other speaker, you wouldn't be hearing it. You'd be hearing it through my little microphone here. And I don't think that would be a great experience. Plus, not to mention the fact that this uses a different input for the speakers than is currently getting output from my computer. So I worry that could result in problems. But this is why it's fun and enjoyable. You know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Start jack. But now this time I'm not going to tell it to use the USB device, because I think once that's the master, the audio is not going through the HDMI and then you can't hear it. Okay, it's starting up. Cannabated Fantasy says, picked up my guitar today for the first time in years. Still could ear tune. That's great. That's fantastic. Mr. Concio says, try Pipewire. I would normally use Pipewire on my Pop! OS machine if I were doing this, but I don't want to use Pipewire because I want to try and use Ubuntu Studio the way that it's intended. And I think we're seeing a bit of a disconnect here. This is something, if I were rating Ubuntu Studio, I really wish there would be Pipewire on here. Now, I read something from the Ubuntu Studio people that said they were struggling with Pipewire and integrating it by go time with everything else that is required of the Ubuntu ecosystem. So my imagination is telling me that's what happened here. This reminds me of my troubles with using OS 10, using different audio devices, and that was a proprietary. Yeah, Mac OS, if you're a musician, Mac OS has its challenges too. That's certainly the case. Okay, I'm going to try closing out Guitarix and reopening Guitarix. And now it's picking up jack, which is good, but now it's been so long since I used jack. I want to make sure. Okay, KDE audio volume can't hear it anymore. So hopefully this works out. I'm setting up a pulse in bridge. I'm hopeful that input jack to pulse gets us what we want to do. I don't know if that's going to, I'm betting that's not what we want. Main output ports. I bet that's what we want. So I'm going to set that. It's confusing. It should be pulse out. Yeah, no, this is weird. Output pulse to jack. This is what's throwing me off. Pulse to jack. I feel like it should say output jack to pulse here because I'm trying to get the audio from jack out to pulse audio and then out through the HDMI to you. All this is so you can hear what I'm trying to do. Okay, jack ports. Let's see. There we go. USB in to system out. Does that work? That is not working. I don't think you can hear it. I should probably mute the computer for now. Okay, so it's running device mixer. Okay, is it picking anything up? It's not picking anything up yet. Can hear. Somebody said can hear. I wonder if you're just hearing me. Like, do I sound like a loud guitar? Or are you just hearing my guitar strumming? Yeah, you might just be hearing the guitar. I don't know if you're here. Are you hearing an amp? Because I'm not seeing an amp. That's the scary part to me. Let's see. So here's live mode. It should be showing something to me, and it's not. So let's see. I wonder if this is what we want. We want USB in. Does any of this work? This is delightful. See, it's Jack. I get so thrown off by this, folks. Jack is not my friend. It's like once I get it set up, I want to just leave it, which is why I ended up using Ubuntu Studio for so long, is like I have Jack set up for it. I don't want to change it. Yeah, everybody's here and just, yep, Q Jack control is what I want. Can we do that? We can. Okay, let's see. This looks a little bit more familiar to me. Patch Bay. Okay, now, can we input from and plug that in to here? Now, can we output? It's been so long. I think I'm doing it right. Folks, I think this is okay. Okay. I don't know if that's doing anything yet, but I also haven't restarted Jack, so. The viewer count is going down, and that's okay, because this is not working out the way I wanted it to. All right. Yep, that's okay. Kill it. Start it again. I don't think that's working. This is so convoluted. The Jack thing is just this is convoluted. This is hard to do. Yeah, the big question is, could a newbie fix this stuff? And this is exactly my concern about Jack, frankly, is they've worked Jack into being so big that, like, I mean, I'm reasonably competent on audio, and like I would need to do some looking this up to figure it out, and that's just a challenge. I'm gonna try one more thing though. There's another amp sim on here. We're gonna kill the Jack server completely. Let's end this. Yep, and we're gonna kill this, and we're gonna kill that, just end them. There we go, no more Jack. And I just wanna see if I can jam. So let's do Rack-a-Rack. See how this one works. Okay, so. Ooh. I'm just seeing if the input is working. Ooh. Okay, the input's picking up just the guitar. That's what we want. The output needs to go out to here so you can hear it. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. Now, how do we hear it? Let's see if I can do an input preferences audio. And can I tell it where to go? Can you hear it at all? Is anything working? I mean, I can see the audio is picking up something. What happens if I open up Audacity? Is that getting picked up? It does come with Audacity, and it comes with a lot of plugins, which is nice. Of course, this isn't going to be a live thing. Okay, while we're waiting for this, let me look at some of the things. I'm just a few inches away from installing Ubuntu Studio on my PC. Got my MIDI keys and audio. Yeah, it's... I mean, let me put it this way. I don't think Ubuntu Studio is doing a bad job if you know Jack. If you know the Jack audio connection kit. Oh my God. It's bad. It's just, it needs to be easier to use if it's going to be taken seriously by, you know, the target audience of Ubuntu Studio. That's my personal opinion. This is just way too challenging for figuring out Jack than it needs to be. And I think that's a problem. But what do you all think? Yep, I always test on Audacity to see if anything works. Yep. That's what I'm trying to do, but it's trying to run Carla, and I'm going to just tell it not to. There we go. It found a bunch of incompatible plugins. It looks like a good chunk of these have to do with Carla. Carla is a patch bay tool, I believe, which is what I was overwhelmed with earlier. And then Sawtooth, Parabola, so it looks like some wave generators. I mean, we'll take a look at that some other time. Okay, audio setup. Let's see. Use the default, use the default. That's what we want. Let's go with one mono for now because it's just one guitar. And okay, that looks like it worked. It's going to sound like crap. Did that not play back? That click through it? Okay. It starts playing and then it stops. I wonder what's happening. That's odd. Is my playback not set up? Come on. I'm clicking too many times. It is not happy with me. It wouldn't be a Veronica Explains Live if everything went right. Okay. I had to hit stop before I actually told it. Okay, playback through HDMI. That way you can hear it. See if that works. Okay, I heard that. I think that was pretty good. Okay, so it's definitely picking up when I turn off Jack and don't use it at all. So that's there. Let's see. Run Adobe Audition in a VM. You could if you need Audition. That's a toughie. Nothing works out of the box. Well, I wouldn't say nothing works out of the box. Like, here's the thing. Jack is the problem here. If anything, Ubuntu Studio has the responsibility because they chose Jack instead of Pipewire. That's arguably the problem here, because I think my audio issues have to do with Jack, not necessarily Ubuntu Studio. What interface am I using? I'm using a PreSonus Audio Box USB 96. And it's definitely picked up right away. Like, I was able to get to Audacity without any sort of goofiness. Now I'm just wondering why on earth this amp sim like, okay, let's see. Can we turn off Jack? Come on, let's turn off Jack. It's not happy with me. I don't know this rack. I've used Guitarix before. This is something totally different. Let's see, what else do they have on here? For amp, I mean, here's that Guitarix again. Ignore it. See, something tells me Guitarix only works through jack. Yeah, it's not coming through at all. Yeah. I don't like this. Yeah, I don't know. Without me going into learning how to use jack on this, which I could do, but like it's not an exciting live stream, I don't think. Okay, let's see. Let's look at some, looking at Rack-A-Rack, I expect Winamp to be on there as well. Yeah, it does look like it has something to do with a llama's ass. The fact that an experience tells me Ubuntu has some work to do. Okay, so, you know, again, like I don't want to pick on Ubuntu Studio too much, but like the blame here is I'm throwing this, like, I don't know jack the audio connection kit all that well, and this thing is convoluted. Jack start, what does this even do? Select the program to start jack if it's not running. I wonder if I can do this. Okay, Q jack control, go. Maybe now it'll do it if I start it from here. Okay, there's jack. Okay. Patch bay. I don't know if I'm gonna hold off on that for a second. Okay, so now can I tell it, how do I get this to find the input? That's what's throwing me off here. Engine, jack ports. Okay, input, capture. Is that checked? I can't even tell if that's checked. Okay, output, playback. Close. Now, still got nothing. Oh, this is weird. Input, output. That looks good. Show me where'd the input, output go? No, that's a noise gate. I don't want that. This is so, okay, let's try some input plug. Can we tell it to pull it through ALSA instead of... Okay. And then output ALSA. Like, let's just use ALSA. Let's see what... Nope. See, it's only going through the audio box. You won't hear it. Can we do it this way? Okay, GX head amp. Let's go there. Okay. Now, can this hear me? I don't see it. I don't know. There's no internal mixer in the software. Okay, so this is, let me see if I can explain my understanding of how jack is supposed to work. Jack is the mixer. And so the idea here is that this patch bay is supposed to connect your point A to point B, and then to point C, and then to point D. Like, this is supposed to let you configure anything to anything. The problem is it doesn't do a good job of exposing these elements to beginners who haven't used it, and like this is not my cup of tea, this one. Pipewire, I think, is a little bit easier for beginners, but Ubuntu Studio doesn't ship it. And so that's where, you know, like my initial inkling, if somebody was like, I know Mac OS and I know how to use Mac OS to record an album, can Ubuntu Studio do it for me? I think I'd say if they're still using Jack, like you got to learn a lot of stuff before you're comfortable with it. Because that's how I'm feeling right now. This could change. They could adopt Pipewire. I think that's a good thing. I think that's the future. Pipewire is an alternative to this that's a little bit easier to handle. It's more straightforward, and I think that the tooling around it is a little bit more clean, simple. Okay, so input to output, but I'm still trying to get you to hear it. So now let's do the output from the amp. I don't know why it says in 0. That's going to throw me off. And then the output is to system. There we go. Now, if I stop and then start it, I don't know. This is getting boring. And that's not what you want if you're doing a creative suite of software. This should be like, here's what I think it should do. I'm gonna set this down and I want to just talk about what this should do, because I'm finding this to be tedious, and that's the last thing you want a Linux distro to be. So let's talk about how this should be. What this should be is I plug this thing in, this audio box interface that I use. I plug this thing in. It detects that I plugged it in and asks if I want a certain configuration. It throws up the patch bay and automatically populates the inputs and the outputs. And then it includes the system inputs and outputs. And it asks me if I want to connect point A to point B. That's what it should do. It doesn't do anything when you plug that in. It doesn't, there's nothing that there's no wizard that lets me quick configure Jack on the fly. That's a failing, in my opinion. And this is something it should do that it isn't doing. And it's incredibly disappointing to me. I'm actually kind of bothered that it didn't just do that for me. Pipewire is its own beast, and I'm not going to pretend like just implementing Pipewire, just make it happen. It's more complicated than that. But I think if you're going to be selling your distribution on a connection kit, you should explain how to connect it. It should be right in there. Oh, this is what you do. Instead, I'm left to try to find it. And being left to try to find it is not a good experience. And I think that says something about a lot of distros. I mean, you all can say in the comments, like, you tell me other distros that could use a wizard. One of my earlier live streams, I did Ubuntu Mate, and Ubuntu Mate has an exceptional first run wizard where it walks you through a software boutique and it asks you if you want to add this and asks you if you want to add that. It is extremely useful. Ubuntu Studio is definitely not your first distro. It's not designed to be. But some help is better than what they're throwing at me here. I mean, this is just very disappointing to me that I couldn't get this going here right away. Software Livre says, can this be fixed, or is Jack doomed for design decisions? Some might argue Jack is doomed. Jack's been around a while, and I think that the people who work on it have some opinions on how it should go. And I don't know, I don't want to speak too much about it because I don't know too many of the individuals involved, but there was a reason I was excited to go with Pipewire. And Pipewire just feels smart. It just feels happy and simple to use. But not only that, there's also a ton of good documentation out there for Pipewire. And at this point, it exceeds Jack. The other thing I would say about Jack as a challenge for it is that it feels like when I've had problems getting Jack to connect something, and again, I might be able to solve this with an hour of debugging, but when I've asked questions in the forums, I get the RTFM people. Don't do that. That's lousy. Help people find the manual. That's important. But like, the reason people go to forums is usually because they have asked a bunch of questions, and you don't know what the person on the other end of RTFM, what they're going through, what they tried, what they not everybody necessarily explains it. And some of this, to me at least, gets into the concept of the lazy web. And, we might criticize people for asking in like a social media comment, hey, what do you mean by this? Instead of just Googling it. But here's the thing. Google gives you the answers Google wants to give you. But sometimes you want to know what the developers think. Sometimes you want to know what the people who build the software are thinking about it. And so if you're in an open source project and you just say like, oh, it's in the manual, go read it, you're losing an opportunity to seize on somebody's curiosity and turn them into a contributor down the road by a positive, uplifting attitude. They're asking you because they want your answer, not necessarily because they want Google's answer. Because Google's answer, as we know, can be really lousy. And it's just so nice when, you find an open source project where they're being super helpful. My experience with Jack in the past is that they're not that project. I hope that changes, but in the meantime, like, I would be looking up how to configure this for Pipewire as soon as I can. Okay, I've used low latency kernels with Pipewire, Harold says. It worked fine. That's fantastic. I'm super excited about that. It's a difficult tension. Read the manual versus ask your friends. It's, you should read the manual. Like, just to be clear, people should know how to read a man page. People should know how to go in and find stuff and, troubleshoot. And I'd sit here and troubleshoot this for the next hour if I thought you all would be interested in it. But it's also, for me, it's past bedtime on a night where tomorrow night I know I'm going to be up late. Even if they don't want to help, staying silent is almost always preferable to a snarky RTFM. Couldn't agree more. That's absolutely the case. It's too bad I don't have a real amp up here. Otherwise, I'd just play along. I'm just going to strum some chords while I answer some more of these questions. Aaron says, DuckDuck. Yes, when I say Google, I mean use DuckDuck. Matt says, sorry, teacher, I'm late. You lost nothing. There's nothing you missed. Let's see. Yep. The thing about RTFM is that a lot of the times the FM is crap. This can be true. like there's a lot of documentation issues out there. And one of the things that is super helpful is contribute to the manual. That's often, like, documentation teams are sorely needed on so many projects if you've got the time, devote to it. I've done a little bit with documentation teams. I want to do more. It's time is the big thing. But if you can volunteer for a documentation team, do it. It's one of the best things you can do for open source. Let's see. What else we got? Google didn't used to be so bad. That's true. It's gotten a lot worse. Especially, here's one of the things. If you're consistently finding bad results, but you're clicking on it just in the hopes that it's good, Google then thinks you like those bad results, and it ends up being a self-sustaining system. It ends up being really bad. It's one of the reasons I think so many people have turned back to, like, you go on your social media of choice. Like, for me, it's Mastodon, and you say, like, oh, hey, can somebody explain to me how this works? And it's like, yeah, I can Google it, but the Googling sucks. Whereas if I actually just ask somebody that I trust, like, they might actually know how it's supposed to work. Read the friendly manual so it sounds nicer. I like that. Would I be interested in purchasing a Heathkit Harmony? I don't need any more guitars right now. like this is good. Let's see. Duck it, Don says. I like it. So I use Google as a verb. I don't often mean actually go to Google. Like I've made jokes about it in my videos. I use DuckDuckGo to Google the answer. Let's see. You need to be more specific these days with Google, and then you might be too specific. Yeah, that's exactly it. A video on how to get started contributing to docs would be awesome. That's a really good idea. I might want to do that. That's fantastic. Aaron appreciated the Mastodon video. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad. Danny, read the finished manual. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to answer some questions real quick. So if you all we're going to walk away from Ubuntu Studio for now. I'm gonna use it for my Kdenlive part. So, there's that. But let's hear, does anybody have any questions just in general about either the channel? I mean, it's the last video of the year. Now would be a great time. If anybody has any questions about the channel, I'll throw up my new website again. But on the web, vkc.sh. That is my website. Where you can go and just find stupid stuff. I've written 4 blog posts this year, which is exciting. And it's a lot for me. It's more than I've ever blogged before in my life, I think. And I'm trying to do more with it in the next year. What I'd like to do is try to do companion blog pieces to the videos where I go into some more detail, just because I think that would be helpful. So anyway, you can find me on the web, vkc.sh. Let's see, what's a good backup program so this doesn't bork my 22.04 install? Backup is tricky. Deja Dupe is packaged for a lot of distros, and I don't hate it. First of all, the most important thing with backup is test it. Your backup is worthless if not tested. So, I recently did a test with Deja Dupe where I was dumping one of my drives to Deja Dupe for a month, and then I pulled on a different computer. I cherry-picked a couple of different dates to see if I could go back, kind of simulating what would happen if I deleted a file 6 weeks ago and I needed it back. It worked, but it was slow and it took up a lot of space. So, with Deja Dupe, you got to be aware of that. What I always say, follow 321 if you're not familiar with it. It's a good thing to search for, and I'll do a video about backups at some point. Timeshift is excellent. Timeshift has really come along. My personal backup for my computer that I'm using right now for the stream is that I rsync a lot and then use snapshots on ZFS on a pool in the basement. Excuse me. So that's what I do. Ooh, question. Did I try out the PinePhone Pro camera? I just got my PinePhone Pro this week. I just unboxed it. I filmed the unboxing today, actually. So I haven't used it yet. So it's charging in the other room. I also bought and is currently powering this laptop. Their new, what is it called? I'm going to show this off real quick. I'm going to unplug the laptop. I'm going to, this is show and tell. See if you can see it. So this is kind of hard to see, but this is my new little power supply from Pine 64. It's nice. It's got a 65-watt USB-C charger and 3.5 watts, and then this QC, and it's got wireless charging in the front, which is super cool because I can throw my phone on it, and that's very neat. Big fan of this thing. We'll see how it works over time. Sometimes with the Pine 64 stuff, some of it can be hit and miss, but this, for the price, I was pretty impressed with it. Not sponsored. I bought it with my own money. I was pretty happy with it. Will I go over command line stuff in Linux in the future? Albert asks. I've done a few videos on this. I'm trying to keep my command line stuff to short videos because I can talk and talk and talk. So what I've been doing is what I call little Linux lessons, where I try to do an under 6-minute video with a command. And I've done a couple of those, but I've got written up 3 or 4 more. So I'll be pumping those out. What I'm trying to do, in this room, I record a talking head. I'll put the camera over there. But I record a talking head, and then I try to do one regular talking head and then a little Linux lesson kind of at the end. And I keep the little Linux lessons in the background and try to edit them when I have time, because they're a pretty short edit. 6 minutes versus like my usual like 20-minute video. So yeah, that's great. Where am I from and when? So in Equipe asks, where am I from and when's the first time I touched a computer? Let's see. I'm from Minnesota, which, if you're familiar with the United States, the top part of the continental United States is mostly square, but there's a little blip that goes up at the top of one of the straight lines. That state is Minnesota. And my ancestry is mostly Norwegian, if you can't tell. Don't you know? So that's where I'm from, and still live, and it's all good. The first time I used a computer was, I know the computer it was an IBM 286 PC, and I'm actually, I don't know if you can hear that, but the keyboard that I use is the Model M, same model from that original computer. And I still use it to this day. I did a video about that, my Model M video. So go check that out if you want to see the whole story about it, because I go into more detail. That was the first computer I learned to type on. That's the earliest computer I ever remember using. I probably used a VIC-20 at some point before that, though. I just don't remember it. Have a VIC-20 in the basement. Let's see. Oofda, Veronica says. Not me. It's somebody in the comments named Veronica. Yes, oofda. That's had to excise that from my vocabulary. Minnesota, land of gopher. Yep, we've got the Gophers are like the sports team for the college that I went to. Let's see. Linux command line. There's a free version in the No Starch Press. That No Starch Press Linux command line book. Do I have it? I have it somewhere. It's excellent. One of my favorite books is I can't reach it right now. It's way up there right now, but it's the Unix and Linux System Administrator's Handbook. It is a classic for folks who are learning Linux for the first time, and I absolutely adore it. 50 degrees Fahrenheit must be pretty warm out there. Last week it was I think 20 below 0 Fahrenheit. So we had the little Arctic blast or whatever you call it nowadays. Yeah, it was cold. Right now it's 15 and it's pretty warm. I was outside earlier, not in a coat. So that's how it goes for me. Let's see. Thoughts on GNOME chess and GNOME games in general. It's great for wasting time. I actually like the GNOME games just fine. Not much of a gamer. I'm a retro gamer. If you've seen any of my videos about the Amiga or the Commodore, or I played Mario on Vim mode the other day. That's more my gaming speed. MPW says, I have the Vikings. I think that's football. Not exactly my thing. Let's see. A video on setting up a home server. So I actually I'm planning a video, potentially a collaboration about taking an old PC and turning it into a home server. I've got a whole host of things about that. I would love to do more videos about home server stuff. Time is the biggest commitment. I work a full-time job and I'm a mom. So, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. I'm so happy I moved from Fargo, North Dakota to Tempe, Arizona. Yeah, I can imagine. Let's see. Yeah, retro games are hard. You have to die. They used to be very hard. I feel like it's gotten a little easier now. How have we added people to the stream? We have 123 viewers. Hi, new viewers. This is an exciting part. I know the author of the Linux Bible you mentioned, part of the Atlanta Linux enthusiast group. Yep. There's those authors are great. I've talked to a couple of them actually. It's really something. I beat Super Mario on a keyboard with one hand. That's a video. You can find it if you go to my other videos. I beat Mario on Vim mode and it was fun. Shriza says, greetings from Japan. Hi. Producers Unite says, one day will I make a video on Biobu. If that's the like Tmux clone or Tmux with added features thing that I'm imagining it is right off the top of my head. I might at some point. Like I've thought about doing a whole video on Tmux, but I might want to split it up into a few different videos. I like Tmux. Thoughts on Redox? It's really cool. I like, so I've tried a few times to learn Rust. This is, so my background, in case you didn't know, I'm a COBOL developer. What that means is I have a lot of bad habits. And so, Rust is hard. It's a challenge. And it's super impressive what Jeremy Solar and the team have done with Redox. So I'm eager to see where it goes. It's very cool. Why did I choose COBOL? I did not choose COBOL. COBOL chose me. So here's my backstory with COBOL is working in government for a number of years. And that's what your government runs on. So as I started getting more involved on the IT side of things and the system administration and the development side of things, it's just, I slowly started picking up COBOL. And then a few years ago, I just made the jump to private sector COBOL work instead of public sector. So that's it's basically, I learned COBOL because your government uses it and I wanted an IT job. So that's why I did it. Let's see. Rob says, hey, recently connected with you on Mastodon. I am on Mastodon. I do love Mastodon as my social network of choice. It's great. I think it's fun. It's very calming, which is nice. It's the way social media could be if we all wanted it to be. You can find out more on my website. Here, I put it here again, vkc.sh. I have links to it, so I'll put that there. COBOL, that's seriously retro program. I'm gonna do a video about COBOL, I promise, at some point. It's just, I do it every day, so it's like, I don't want to touch it by the end of the day. Most of my videos I have to edit like after work hours, so you can imagine I'm just kind of sick of COBOL by then. Kubuntu is a good pick for sure. I love Kubuntu. I used Kubuntu on my MacBook before I switched to Arch. I thought it was great. Veronica, not me, another Veronica asks, how old am I? I was born somewhere between the Commodore 64 and the Amiga 500. Let's see. Do I have any hobbies? Making YouTube videos, but I don't want this to be a hobby. I actually want to do this more. So, cause like at this point, really the issue is just food on the table. And that's the thing that keeps me from doing like a video each week. So I'm hoping to get there though. You know, things are growing. This channel's, it's really, I appreciate all of you for watching and enjoying it and having fun. So, but it is helping as the channel grows, it's kind of helping offset a few of the things, and that's nice. So happy holidays from Guadalajara, Mexico. Hi, happy holidays to you too. That's exciting. Yep. U of M alum King Hadi the First says U of M alum was surprised the U was banned from making commits to the Linux kernel. That happened. My alma mater is not allowed to make commits to the Linux kernel anymore. I think if I'm remembering correctly, they worked something in as a test, like they wanted to see if they could break something. I don't remember the story behind it off the top of my head, but it was really embarrassing. Question, how fast is COBOL versus Golang or C? Just learn Go. Don't do COBOL. The reason you build a new COBOL app is because you have to maintain an existing COBOL app. That's the important thing. the reason why COBOL is in demand is because replacing software is expensive and not everybody does it. So that's where my bread and butter comes from. Software Livre asks, is 43,000 subscribers enough to get a stable income or go part-time? No, it is not. It's definitely, I mean, it's something. Ad revenue is almost nothing. So like and you know, frankly, that's okay. Like for one thing, I know a lot of you all use ways to get around the ads. Good, you should. That's that. I don't pick on anybody for doing that. It's not quite, you know, like the Patreon would be, it's a bigger thing. Patreon pays more than YouTube. So I've been trying to do a little bit more with that. But it's, you know, it's all, it'll come eventually. I don't know at what point I'll be able to drop my hours with day job stuff, but it'll come eventually. I hope. Let's see. I want to thank Trady Trev for the donation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, we have Go versus Rust happening in the comments. I like Rust. I've tried Go, I've tried Rust. I like Rust better. That doesn't mean Go is bad. If I were building a web app and I had to choose between one of the two, I think I'd probably prefer Go. But Rust might be there in a year. I mean, Rust might be there right now. That's fine. Veronica says, banks are like that with the AS400. They are. I have an AS400 in the basement. Literally, that's one of my servers in the home lab. Let's see. Software Livre says, the story with the U is they tried to fake pull requests with known vulnerabilities to see if they could catch it or not and create an article about it. Yep. That's how it goes. I was gonna say, it's very Minnesotan to do something on the sly as a, like, we're not gonna tell you we're doing it, but we're doing it just to see if we can get it done and then talk about it later, maybe. That's extremely Minnesotan. It's very relatable content for me. Alex Dawson asks, who are my favorite bands? Led Zeppelin, B-52s, Blondie, not necessarily in that order. One of my friends on Mastodon pointed me toward French electropop duo Elie et Jacquenot, and I really actually like them right now. They're kind of my thing. It's very exciting. Let's see. So, ever use Plan 9 or other non-Linux BSD Unix-like OSs? I use FreeBSD semi-regularly because a few of the systems that I maintain run on TrueNAS. And so like there's some involvement with FreeBSD there. And I also have some experience with firewalls, and firewalls are running on the BSDs. Specifically, lately I've been using OpenSense and pfSense quite a bit. pfSense personally, OpenSense and pfSense for a few client things. It's fun. I like it. Would I use a BSD on my like main machine? I don't know. It's not that I wouldn't. It's not that I think BSD is bad. Ghost BSD in particular does a fantastic job, and I like as a daily distro, like I could actually imagine using that one. The BSDs in general are just a whole different basket, and there's only so much time I have in the day. Let's see. Equipe says, or I might not be pronouncing your name correctly, so I apologize. Makes me think of presenting content in English instead of Brazilian Portuguese and adding subs for them. You do whatever you want to do. I think people from all over the world should make content as they want to make it. So I think that sounds great. Trady Trev says, you seem like a rocker from way back. I've been like a punky, rocky person my entire life. It's just kind of been the thing. Go versus Rust. What about COBOL versus Fortran? Yeah, Fortran pays the bills. Fortran's great. A lot of stuff runs on Fortran. A lot of stuff runs on COBOL. I just happen to fall into COBOL. I could have fallen into Fortran just as easily. The COBOL just happened to be the thing that I learned. Let's see. Need to figure out how to install FreeBSD. It's fun. It's a good time. Let's see. So, speaking of the wise term, equip. I'm still not sure. I'm sorry. Says we talked about the wise terminals. Actually, the first video I made, and the wise terminal video. I'm actually hoping to do a follow-up on it relatively soon, where I connect to a single board computer. It's probably not going to be a Raspberry Pi. It's probably going to be something else. But I connect to it and then directly communicate over serial instead of the USB serial kind of shunt that I had for that first video. I was trying to appeal to the widest array of possible technical stuff here, but I might do a follow-up where I rig up like a real serial connection. It'll be fun. Punky Brewster punk rocker vibe. Yeah, that's kind of me. Ooh, no, we can't talk about System D. No System D conversation in the comments. I'm fine with System D, but if you don't want to use it, that's fine. I have some systems that don't use it. It's okay. Let's see. Alex wants to make content, but they're shy. You should do it. Do it. Everybody should make stuff. I love watching this stuff. I enjoy it. Let's see. Equipe is somebody's saying in Portuguese. It means team. Cool. I learned something new. Let's see. From what I think, okay, I'll go about System D. If you want to use System D, that's fine. If you don't like System D, don't use it. Like Linux is about freedom. Like you can do whatever you want. Sahil says, thanks to you, I shifted to Linux. That's great. I'm glad that it worked out for you. That's kind of the goal here. So that's exciting. What am I excited? Jefferson McGee asks, what am I excited about for next year? Not necessarily Linux related. I'm excited about a lot of things. Like from just a personal standpoint, like trying to get outside more. That's kind of the goal. I don't know if you can tell I'm very pale. Comes from being Minnesotan, and it comes from a lot of Scandinavian ancestry. And yeah, that's just, I'm hoping in 2023 I get outside more. That's pretty much my biggest goal at this point. How many pets do you have? I talk about this on the website, actually. I'm gonna do the website thing again. On the web at vkc.sh, you can learn more about, like, I have an About Me page there. But I will say I have a very old cat and a very young dog, and that's what I've got, and it's great. Let's see. A video explaining System D could be in the cards. I would, I'm thinking of, so here's the thing. I worry sometimes about the backlash in the comments, and like that's a real thing because people get like really nasty and mean. So I'd have to find a way to do it that includes some snark and some like good-natured ribbing on both sides of the issue. Cause like, I think the System D people, like in some cases, they kind of deserve the crap that they get. So like, and I say that as a person who mostly uses System D. Oh, this is fantastic. Consider Minnesota's scientific and natural areas that we have. Like, okay, one of the best things about living in Minnesota is that you can buy a parks permit and then you can just go to like fantastic and amazing outdoor experiences. And like, there's just a ton of stuff going on there. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. Okay. I think I'm probably going to pull down the stream here in a moment because it's almost 10 o'clock. I've been on for almost 2 hours. But Jefferson McGee, this is maybe a good one to wrap up, except Electromatic just mentioned Fran Blanche. Everybody should subscribe to Fran Blanche. She's fantastic. Jefferson McGee says, asks, do I wish to make more non-Linux related content in the future? The answer to that is yes. I've been trying to do more retro stuff, and I think it's going well. Like I think it's going okay. I want to try to keep it in the realm of technology, but one thing, I'll tease it out for an upcoming video, which is going to be exciting, is this thing that happened in tech, these biorhythm calculators in like the 70s. This became a thing for a while. And I've wanted to talk about it because if you ever buy like an old basic book from like the 70s or 80s, a lot of times one of the basic introductory programs that they teach you about is this biorhythm calculator. And it's kind of a pseudoscientific culty thing that happened. And we just don't talk about it. like I was having a conversation with somebody and we were talking about how like for a few years, like it seems like all the literature was talking about this like weird culty like biorhythm calculator where you enter in your birth date and it tells you like when you're gonna have a good day and when you're not gonna have a good day. It's like a horoscope. And we all just like did it. And I mean, I didn't, I wasn't born yet, but the people who were alive did it. And there's like a lot of weird, like this is a Casio calculator. Like this isn't cheap. This is like an actual, like, and it's a functional calculator as far as calculators go. Like I can like type on it and, you know, like it does math, but then it'll also tell you based on your birthday when you're going to have a good day and when you're going to have a bad day. Why don't we talk about the fact that that happened? So I'm going to do that video. And it's interesting because there's actually one of the companies that put out some of the documentation about this, their archives are actually at the U of M. So I'm going to try to hop over there when all the kids are out of class and go to the library and actually like do some sleuthing about it because I think it sounds super fun. So anyway, I think I gotta pull down the stream because like everybody, so many fantastic questions here, but oh my goodness, I could just keep going and going and going. You all are absolutely fantastic. Ooh, Shriza just donated, was that 2,000 yen? Thank you, Shriza. I appreciate that so much. It's just very, very thoughtful of you, and I appreciate that. I very much want to do more of this. And so I'm hoping that like if this worked out well, this stream worked out well, I'll have to look and see. I mean, Ubuntu Studio has a little bit of work ahead of it, and you'll see a follow-up at some point. I want to do more of this. So I just very much appreciate everybody jumping in. I appreciate the thanks. I appreciate the donations and the stuff. You know, again, if you want to help support the channel, you can go to my little website, if I can make it go on, vkc.sh. It contains links to this. There's a support section on the page. I should have I also have the short link, support.linux.mom. If you want to jump in there, you can actually find all the different ways to help support the channel. You can buy a shirt like the one I'm wearing, or you can, you know, donate monthly or however you want to do it. There's so many different ways, and I very much appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for taking the time to jump in and comment. This is fantastic, and I'm very grateful for all of you. It really made my weekend. So thank you. Now I'm going to sign off. But don't forget, Linux is awesome, and so are you. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. How do I turn it off? Is this?